I never thought something this awkward would happen to me. It was just a normal day. I had come home, tossed my bag on the bed, and started changing into something more comfortable. The door was closed, or at least I thought it was. But just as I pulled off my shirt, the door suddenly swung open. I froze. Standing there, just as shocked as I was my stepmom. For a moment neither of us moved. My heart pounded. I could see the look on her face, surprised, maybe even embarrassed. But then something even stranger happened. Instead of quickly closing the door and leaving, she hesitated. My mind was racing. Why didn't she just walk away? Was she about to say something? I had never felt more uncomfortable in my life. 1,000 thoughts rushed through my head. Was this just an accident, or was there something more to it? The silence between us felt like it lasted forever. And then she finally spoke. But what she said, I never expected it. I still can't believe what happened next. You have to hear the full story to understand just how shocking this moment really was. She opened her mouth like she wanted to say something, but no words came out. I quickly grabbed the nearest shirt and pulled it over my head, my face burning with embarrassment. The air in the room felt heavy, like we were both trying to figure out how to react. Sorry, she finally muttered, taking a step back but still not leaving completely. It was strange. Why was she still standing there? I had lived with my stepmom for a while now, and though we got along fine, we were never particularly close. But this moment felt different, like something unspoken was lingering between us. She hesitated, her eyes darting around the room like she was searching for the right words. I need to talk to you, she finally said, her voice shaky. My stomach dropped. This wasn't about the awkwardness of walking in on me. It was something bigger. I sat down on the edge of my bed, bracing myself. She closed the door behind her, which only made my heart race faster. It's about your dad, she began, her voice barely above a whisper. My mind immediately went to the worst. Was he okay? Had something happened? But then she took a deep breath and said, "There's something you don't know about him. About us." Her words hung in the air, heavy and unresolved. I could tell she was struggling to say more, but the tension was unbearable. What could she possibly be hiding? Before she could continue, the sound of the front door opening interrupted us. My dad was home. Her face went pale, and she quickly stood up, muttering, "Not now. We'll talk later." And just like that, she left the room, leaving me with more questions than answers. What was she about to tell me? And why did it feel like my whole world was about to shift? The rest of the evening was a blur. I kept replaying her words in my head, trying to make sense of what she meant. Every time I saw her, she avoided eye contact, and my dad seemed completely unaware of the tension. It was like living in two different worlds, one where everything was normal and another where something huge was about to explode. Later that night, I heard hushed voices coming from their bedroom. I crept closer, my heart pounding. "She deserves to know," my stepmom whispered urgently. "We can't keep this from her anymore." My dad's voice was low but firm. "Not yet. It's not the right time." I froze. What were they hiding? And why did it feel like it was about to change everything? The suspense was unbearable, and I knew I couldn't wait much longer to find out the truth. I couldn't sleep that night. The whispered conversation between my dad and stepmom played on a loop in my mind. What were they hiding? The next morning, I decided to confront her. I found her in the kitchen, sipping coffee, her hands trembling slightly. "We need to talk," I said, my voice firmer than I expected. She looked up, startled, and then sighed, like she knew this moment was inevitable. "Okay," she said, setting her mug down. "But there's something you need to see first." She pulled out an old photo album from the cabinet and flipped to a page. My breath caught. It was a picture of her, years younger, holding a baby. "That's you," she said softly, her eyes welling up. "I'm not just your stepmom. I'm your birth mother." The room spun. My mind raced. If she was my mom, why had she kept this from me? And why had my dad, the man I thought was my father, gone along with it? The stakes had just skyrocketed, and I knew nothing would ever be the same. I stared at the photo, my mind racing. "You're my mom?" I whispered, my voice shaking. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I wanted to tell you so many times, but your dad, well, the man you know as your dad, thought it was better to wait until you were older." My heart pounded as the pieces started to fall into place. "So, he's not my real father?" I asked, my voice barely audible. She hesitated, then shook her head. "No, he's not. Your biological father. He's someone else, someone I haven't seen in years." I felt like the ground had been ripped out from under me. All this time, I'd been living a lie. But before I could process it all, she dropped the final bombshell. "He's here," she said, her voice trembling. "He reached out to me a few weeks ago. He wants to meet you." My stomach churned. A man I'd never known existed wanted to meet me. My head spun with questions. Why now? What did he want? And could I even face him after all these years? Just then, the doorbell rang. We both froze. She looked at me, her eyes filled with fear and hope. "That's him," she said softly. I didn't know if I was ready, but I knew one thing. My life was about to change forever. I took a deep breath and walked to the door, my heart pounding. When I opened it, there he was, a man I'd never met, but whose eyes looked strangely familiar. He smiled nervously, and for a moment we just stood there, unsure of what to say. "Hi," he finally said, his voice soft. "I've waited a long time for this." I didn't know how to feel, angry, curious, or maybe a little of both. But as we sat down and started talking, I realized this was a chance to understand where I came from and who I really was. In the end, it wasn't just about him or my stepmom. It was about me. And for the first time, I felt like I was finally finding the missing pieces of my story.